working, you working, you working, you working. Practice make perfect.
All right, guys, welcome to another Baseball Nomad podcast. I'm your host, Coach AB. And today, you know what? I want you to be responsible. Yep, be responsible. It actually takes me back to what my old coach used to say in West Valley, Mike Perez. I think he's a Hall of Famer. Probably. Let's look it up. Anyway, yeah, he used to be in my ear, college a long time ago, but I still hear his voice. Be responsible. Right. And, coaches don't create talent. As a coach, we can only kind of help release it. Okay. And we've all seen, instances where coaches take credit for accomplishments of natural selection or a particular set of athletes or a group of players. And they don't mention the mass failures that result from their instruction with the others. Right. Listen, you'll never hear a coach say, well, I guess I was just lucky. Somebody had to win, and I'm certainly glad it was me. Right? You'll never hear that. Right? So as players, I want you to get used to having the reins of your own career, of your own life. Okay. It's yours to take charge, and you've got to be determined how successful or unsuccessful you'll be. Okay. You have the power in your own hands. And, that's my best advice. Don't let anything hold you back from the potential that's inside of you. Okay. As a coach, I'm going to tell you where I'm going to be this season. I'm going to be on a bucket right next to the dugout door. Right. I'm on a bucket. Okay. I'm not taking any ground balls. I'm not having any at bats this year. I'm not, throwing anything off of the mound. Right. I'm going to be on the bucket. Now, with that being said, there's a reason why I'm going to work you hard during the winter, or why I'm going to work you hard during the practice days during the season. I in Europe here, I call them my days, right? Because, those are the days that I scream and yell and, I run you through the paces. It's so that I can kind of let go on game days and let you attack the game with strength and aggressiveness. Okay. I want you to move fast. I want my practices to be way faster than the game. So in a sense that the game slows down. For my team, that's my responsibility as far as the preparation goes, right? Look, I'm probably old school. I'm probably considered what's old school. Okay. I didn't have a choice in my day. From a young age, I was taught the importance of personal accountability, which means personal responsibility. Okay. Now, I believe that we all possess the capacity to take ownership and control our attitude towards any situation, whether it's an exciting event or something mundane that we do every day, or a game or a moment or an at bat. It's up to us how we view things, right? But my parents, my teachers, the Navy, my coaches were instrumental in instilling this mindset that continues to motivate me today. Okay. Now, I'm not saying that, I came up the right way and, the kids today are coming up the wrong way. I'm not saying that. All I'm saying is, yeah, you had to take personal accountability, personal responsibility. If things weren't done, if the lawn wasn't mowed, you're in trouble. If your homework wasn't done, you're in trouble. If the trash wasn't taken out, you're in trouble. And you didn't get to practice, you're in trouble. I learned personal accountability, right? You missed your watch in the Navy, you're in big trouble, right? You didn't show up on time, you're in huge trouble. You didn't show up to muster, you're in huge trouble, right? You're getting fined and you might go to jail, right? Right? Well, but today I see young players and they often face little obstacles and they make them so insurmountable. Okay. I see this tendency for players nowadays to get upset over every little thing that doesn't go their way. Like, an umpire's call of a ball or a strike, the weather, it's too hot. I hear that all the time here in Austria. It's cold now. And, when it gets hot, man, these guys act like they melt. It's too hot, coach. It's too hot. There's always an excuse, why young players can't seem to get things done, or even here in Europe, even get to practice, I don't know. But those responsibilities aren't any different than what we have in the U.S., right? We have to, go to school, right? We have to be responsible to our families, right? We might have to work a part-time job, right? And so here, you have 2 days mandatory practice. At least I do 2 days mandatory practice and 1 day that's kind of voluntary. I have guys who struggle even though they're part of the team. They've said, hey, this is the sport that I want to play. I have guys who struggle to get to those 2 practices, to even get to one of them, because they have to go to, their grandma's, birthday party or something, right? I know, remember I tell you about the guy, Mike Perez, be responsible. If I didn't show up for a practice, that's it. Someone else is playing left field or center field, right? If I made the excuse, well, coach, I had to work last night. That's it. That's okay. Someone else has got my at bat, right? That's okay, right? Same thing in the Navy. You didn't show up for muster. Well, you're getting fined in the morning, right? You're going to get fined. You're going to go to captain's mast. They're going to put a fine on you, and you might be restricted to the ship. It doesn't matter what your excuse is, right? So, that's the thing that I want to impress upon you here. High achievers don't point the finger, or they don't shift the blame. They own their game, and they strive for success through taking personal responsibility. Okay. Now, I think we have a great opportunity here. The World Baseball Classic is coming, and I'm excited. I'm going to cover it here on the podcast, but it's a huge opportunity for players to see, guys who come from non-traditional baseball countries, right? And you'll see that they have determination. They have this drive to succeed, and I think it's exciting. It's exciting to look at this tournament. We can all kind of look forward to seeing some unexpected stars sort of shine, proving that focus, dedication, okay, with the right mix, you can achieve anything, regardless of your background or where you're coming from, okay? And so I'm excited to see it. Some of my ex teammates, like, for example, Pavel Hadim, who manages the Czech team, right? He's a former teammate of mine. I played with him in the Czech Republic in 96 and 97, right? His bench coach, right, is former shortstop of mine, right? Some colleagues playing or coaching with Italy, right? Former colleagues, guys that have played for me, right? All these guys, their journeys have all been different. We all have different journeys, right? And none of these guys drafted in the top 10 rounds of the Major League Draft in June, right? They've had to make choices. They've had to sacrifice. They've had to respond to situations. And that's what I'm trying to get at. People with inner excellence, they focus on the things that they can control, man, right? You can't control where you're born or, what country you're born, who your parents are. You can't control sometimes what happens on the field. I know a few players here who identify as players, right? I mean, you check them out, and they're in their battle regalia, they're in their uniforms, right? On their social media pages, they're representing like they ball, like they're ballers. But you go and you check their attendance and what they've been doing for the winter, or even during the season, check to see how many times they actually come to training. And it's like, dude, you are behaving incredibly stupid, right? If you're going to say that you're a baller, right, you're setting your teammates up for disappointment. You're setting yourself up for disappointment. I mean, there's no way around it. You've got to be personally responsible for getting it in, right? I mean, this is maybe an old school saying. The time will come when spring asks, what did you do, all winter? Okay. And it's like the polar opposite of the guys who were going to the World Baseball Classic. They've had the guys in the World Baseball Classic on these non-traditional sort of baseball teams that, don't have baseball as a main sport in their country. I mean, they've had to seize every opportunity that they possibly could get to, bring their skills up, and I'm amazed at these guys who call themselves ballers who piss away opportunities. I'm amazed at the number of opportunities people fail to seize, You got everything here, right? I just been to South Africa where they got nothing. I mean, I've been where 50 guys are training and they've got 10 balls, right? But I mean, a lot of players, we seem to fail to seize opportunities, and I don't know if that's because of self-defeating sort of beliefs but whatever it is, it's stopping you from reaching your true potential. And I know I may sound like that get off my lawn guy, but there's that old saying that says youth is wasted on the young. I agree with that, but I also agree that wisdom is wasted on us old guys, right? I could tell some of these guys who are in social media in their uniforms trying to act like ballers that they're pissing away these opportunities, but it doesn't seem to reach them. And I mean, truth be told, athletes at every level often interfere with their own performance. They get in their own way with their fears, their self-doubts, their self-condemning nature. But the big one is not taking responsibility. And it just blows me away. I mean, how much partying can you do? I used to like to party as a player, but you know what? No one can tell you that I wasn't responsible. I was out there, right? But how much beer can you drink? How much weed can you smoke? How much Fortnite can you play? You can't give yourself over to excess and expect to always have a good time, right? If I drink, 7 beers, I'm hurting the next day nowadays, right? So, it's going to hurt. And so discipline's not a punishment, fellas. It's not. It's a way to avoid punishment, right? And when we understand that, being responsible, I mean, damn, we got to seek the things that, we want to be, right? Seek that thing that's in your profile picture, not your desire for your rights or your chase of happiness or your chase of pleasure. Okay. You've got to be responsible. Look, I think to be successful in the game or in life, it's about sort of drawing those boundaries around yourself. Healthy boundaries, borders, knowing who you are and what you're responsible to, not being pulled in 1,000 different directions, right? I know I'm never going to sleep the same as I did when I was 22, right? Because, my responsibilities are different, I got a son who's 1 year old, right? He hasn't slept through the night 3 days in a row, right? So I don't sleep through the night, right? I've got a daughter who's 7 years old, and she's, beautiful. She's gonna be beautiful. And I know the guys are gonna be knocking on the door, calling at all hours of the night, right? I'm not gonna sleep, right? I got to take care of my family, right? So, this is responsibility that keeps me, focused, and that's the thing, you got to focus on what's most important to you. I'm not saying don't be young, but you got to own up to your beliefs. If you think you're a baller, then you know what? That's what you believe in. Then be that baller. Be empowered by taking responsibility for who you are. Okay. So I got to say it, if you like this, if this helps you, tell someone else, but like it and subscribe, right? And like always, you know what? Don't forget to breathe. All right. We'll see you in the next episode. Okay.
Hey, look at the squad, look at my team. Don't be my hearts, don't be my bruvs, don't be my guys, don't be the parts that I need to the puzzle.